Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Bowling University studio here at the International Bowling Campus in Arlington, Texas. I'm Bart Berger, and I'll be your host for this edition of the Bowling University Tuesday Morning Profit Break. Thank you for joining us. The Tuesday Morning Profit Break is an opportunity for sharing insights on how to grow revenue, reduce costs, enrich yourself, your team, and your business. I'd like to welcome all of our new viewers and welcome back to all of you that are joining us again. Thank you for taking a few minutes out of your busy day. We have another great show for you. Grab your coffee or your favorite morning beverage and let's get started improving your profitability. Today we have with us a very special guest, Mr. Bryan Caplan. Bryan is all about building a bigger, better business. He's a speaker with Grow with Google. He's an award-winning CEO of Bryan Caplan Marketing and the host of Bigger, Better Biz channel on YouTube. Bryan works with entrepreneurs like you around the world, learning and teaching digital marketing topics to help small businesses grow and succeed. Bryan's also a guest lecturer at several colleges and universities throughout the country. He's also been featured in Inc., GoDaddy, Constant Contact, just to name a few. This morning, Bryan's going to be sharing some digital marketing tips to help you grow your business. So Bryan, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome to the Tuesday Morning Profit Break.
I just grabbed my coffee, so cheers to you, Bart.
Awesome, thank you. Hey, Bryan, I know that when you join us in June, you're going to be speaking at great depths and lengths about Google search and maps and how to show up. But can you share a few tips for us, for our viewers this morning to get them started?
Sure thing. I think first off, for all the operators watching, it's really important that you know if you're actually showing up on Google Search and Maps. So that's number one, search for your business. And you should show up on the right-hand side. It's a knowledge panel. So you'll see photos, you might see reviews that you have, things like that. You've probably seen that before. It's called a Google My Business profile. So that's number one. Number two is make sure you own that listing and you've verified it. That way you can actually control it. You can control how you're showing up, the information you're putting out. Let's say you have a cool event coming up like Cosmic Bowling or something like that. You can actually put up a post that lives right on Google, and you can link to a page where people can register or RSVP for the event. So there's a lot of things that go into Google My Business that I probably, the operators don't know, but in June, I'm gonna make sure they know.
Awesome. So good things to get started there. Thank you. Now, so it seems now that video is king. We all have become filmmakers at heart here. So can you share some tips with us from a business perspective? How can we use video to help small business operators?
So I think you guys would understand because you guys are like the epicenter of social capital. People are coming together, they're having fun, they're eating, they're playing, everything in your centers. And I think it's really important that we understand the power of video. Because we've all been separated, we've been hunkered down, or we've been at home or whatever else, following safety protocols, that social capital or that ability for us to come together has gone away. And then add on top of that, when we have to wear masks, you can't even see someone smile. And smiling is one of the most powerful things in all of the world because it just conveys that you're happy, you're approachable. Well, with video, you can do both. You can smile and you can invite your guests, you can show them around. They're moving pictures. People love watching videos because it just fills you in on so much. What's happening? What are the updates we have? How are we following safety protocols? What about our food and beverage program? Are there new menu items? You know, do we have new attractions or events at the center? So those are all things that we want to convey via video. And when we do, people are going to watch it.
Yeah, Bryan, thank you. I think that's a great tip. I love the idea of it's one thing for us to talk about and write what we're doing, but it's another to share and show people what we're doing in that video. So great takeaway there. So let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about that old school channel website. What are one or two things that maybe folks can do right away before they come see you to help with their websites?
I gotta say, you're a tough act to follow. I watched your Morning Profit Break episode where you talked about websites, and you actually had some really good stuff in there. I'd say a few things. Number one, make sure that your website works on all devices. So you guys know it as mobile responsive, and that's kind of like an overwhelming word. Really what it means is the website knows if it's being loaded on a computer, on a tablet, or on a phone, and it actually activates for that specific device. So think about a mobile device. If I take my phone, the last thing I want want to do on my phone is scroll left or right or pinch and zoom. That's a poor user experience. So what we want to do, number one, test your site on all devices. And if you don't have a tablet, find someone that does have a tablet and open it up on that device. See how it's working. Google is looking at the user experience. It wants to make sure that when people come to your center site, that they have a good user experience. They can find what they're looking for, click around. So that's number one, mobile responsive. Number two, here's something. When people come to your site, now 94% of them are making a first impression of your business based on your site. Just look at your site objectively and say, does this make sense? Does this welcome people? Do they feel like they're walking through the front doors of my center and all of a sudden they're being overwhelmed with all these amazing things that are happening and they have all these different choices? Do we welcome them in and give them that same kind of digital welcome that we need on our website? User experience, just, it can't be thrown under the rug. You've got to make sure you have a good one.
Awesome. Thank you, Bryan, for that. Now, you've had a very unique experience because in your work with Google, you get to kind of peek behind the curtain and see things and work with things that other folks like us don't get a chance to. So Google Ads, let's spend a second on that there. Should we be in that space, and is that something that small businesses, we should even be worrying about?
First off, I'm going to give you the rule of what not to do with Google Ads. So I want everyone to pay attention. We'll be talking more about this in June, but when it comes to Google Ads, don't just send them to your homepage. That's number one, because your homepage is a portal. It has all these other things. You know, I can find out more about your business. I can look at your reviews. I can check out your different amenities and things like that. There's too much going on. So number one, when you do an ad, make sure it's going to a targeted landing page. If you're talking about an event, I'll use Cosmic Bowling. If you're talking about an event like Cosmic Bowling and you have an ad for Cosmic Bowling, you've set an expectation for me that I'm going to learn more when I click this ad about Cosmic Bowling. Bring me to that page, okay? So that's number one. Number two, with ads, you don't just want to use ads just to use them. It's because everybody else is doing it. It's like a positional arms race, but the key is with ads. You want to make sure that you're actually putting your ads up once you have a good foundation, a good website, good local SEO like Google My Business, and you have a mechanism, like whether it's a contact form or an email subscription form, something so that when someone clicks, you can now grab their information. Now they're a lead that you can continue marketing to again and again.
Good tips, thank you. So we're going to sneak in one more question here today. I want to go back to video just for a moment because it's so critical, so critical. And for those of us that are not familiar with that, you know, I think for small business owners, we can get overwhelmed, right? So like where to start, what to do. Any easy tips that we could get started before you take a deeper dive with us in June?
Sure. Number one, don't have high expectations for your first few videos. My first video was horrible. My business partner made me publish it. I kept just looking at it. I was like, no, I don't look right. Oh, I have a double chin here, all those things. Guys, you're your own worst critic. So number one, know that your videos probably aren't going to show up the way you want them to, but get them out. Now, when it comes to getting them out, all you need is a smartphone. Most of us have smartphones. Maybe one of you has a flip phone or a Zach Morris, one of those giant bricks. Okay, you can't use a phone. But most of us have a smartphone and the camera's pretty darn good on it. So what you want to do is just get started. Think of a video that, I think one of your first videos could actually be telling your story. How did you come to own the center? What's the story behind it? Why do you love it so much? People aren't just buying from your center. They're buying from you. They want to know your story. So one of your first videos could just be a story. I call it a talking head video, where you take the camera and you say, hey, thanks so much for checking out our center. Here's what happened. We started 20 years ago or 40 years ago. It's a family business. People love that. Story is just this thing that proliferates through generations. So my tips: 1, use your phone. 2, have a story. 3, just put it out there. And don't worry about what you think about the video. Worry about what everybody else says, because trust me, they're going to say, wow, I saw you on video. That's amazing. I can't believe it. You're a local celebrity. So just get there, just do it, just push it out. You're going to absolutely love it, and you'll get some dividends from it.
Yeah, well, thank you, Bryan, for that great insight, and thank you for sharing that with us, because you're helping us manage expectations and making it where anybody can do it. You don't have to be a producer, or you don't have to be a marketing expert like yourself there. So thank you so much for being with us. We can't tell you how excited we are to have you with us in June, and appreciate you taking a few moments this morning.
Absolutely, my pleasure. I look forward to seeing you all in June. Thanks, Bart.
Awesome. Well, hey, gang, exciting news we have to share with you right now, because Bryan is going to be hosting our super session on Monday, June 21st at 1:30 during Bowl Expo. Now, if you're not familiar with our Bowl Expo super session, it is a 3-hour deep dive. We're going to take a deep, deep dive with all the stuff Bryan shared with you today. Now, space is limited, and you must register in advance to reserve your spot. Let me tell you, folks, this event will sell out, and you're not going to want to miss it. So you can visit right now, bowlexpo.com, to reserve your spot. So as we wrap up another edition of the Tuesday Morning Profit Break, remember that when your focus is on growing people, people will grow your business. We look forward to seeing you next week at 10:15 Eastern for another great episode of the Tuesday Morning Profit Break. If you have any questions about today's show or like additional information, you can reach us anytime at education@bpaa.com. Also, you and your team can watch any of our previous episodes 24/7 by visiting us at bowlinuniversity.net. Until then, I'm Bart Berger, and do for one what you wish you could do for everyone. We'll see you next week.